Hello and welcome to Boomerang, West Lothian's weekly talking newspaper. It's Friday the 19th of December and this evening at 10:02 we're bringing you the local news from around the county, which is taken from this week's Courier with permission. I'm Rebecca, and also reading for us tonight are Jane and Sarah. Joanne can't be with us tonight as she's not been too well. Get well soon, Joanne. Diane is in charge of the recording and editing tonight, which we all appreciate. Now, I do hope that you have all managed to avoid this flu and the various lurgies and bugs which have been going around. I'm just going to wish you all a happy and healthy Christmas. Now, I don't think there's anything in the post bag, so we can go on with the news.
Pensioner killed in a road crash and she's just been named. And this is an article by Stephen Bark. A woman who died in a car crash near Linlithgow has been named by police. Isabella Cordner was pronounced dead at the scene of the crash on the A706 near Carriber Mill on Friday, December 5th. The 87-year-old, also known as Isa, was a passenger in one of the two vehicles involved. Investigations into the crash, in which 3 other people were seriously injured, are ongoing. Police are keen to speak to the driver of an uninvolved Range Rover which was in the area at the time. Emergency services were called to the scene at around 6:55 p.m. following the incident, which involved a red Honda Civic and a silver Volkswagen T-Roc. Isa, a passenger in the Volkswagen, sadly died at the scene. A 64-year-old man, the driver of the Volkswagen, a 63-year-old woman, a passenger of the Volkswagen, and a 21-year-old man, the driver of the Honda, were all taken to hospital with serious injuries. The road was closed for 8 hours as police carried out inquiries at the scene and was reopened at around 2 a.m. on Saturday, December 6. Police have reappealed for information to help ascertain the full circumstances of the crash. Sergeant Barry Somerville said, "Our thoughts remain with Isa's family and friends at this extremely difficult time. Our investigation into the crash is ongoing, and I'd again appeal to anyone who was driving in the area at the time and who has not yet spoken to officers to get in touch. We are also looking to speak to the driver of a Range Rover who was driving along the road around the time of the crash." A spokesperson for Police Scotland added, "The woman who died following a fatal crash on the A706 near Carriber Mill can be named as Isabella Cordner, 87, known as Isa. The incident happened around 6:55 p.m. on Friday, December 5th, and involved a red Honda Civic and a silver Volkswagen T-Roc. Emergency services attended, but Isa, a passenger in the Volkswagen, died at the scene. The 64-year-old male driver and the 63-year-old female passenger were taken to hospital with serious injuries. The driver of the Honda, a 21-year-old man, was also seriously injured and taken to hospital. Isa's family has asked for privacy at this time. The road was closed for 8 hours to allow investigations to take place and was reopened around 2 a.m. on Saturday, December 6th. Anyone with information is asked to contact Police Scotland on 101, quoting incident number 2701 of December 5th.
Reform UK councillor first elected on ticket. Article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian is the first council in Scotland to have a councillor elected on the Reform UK ticket. David McLennan won the Whitburn and Blackburn ward by-election with 1,177 votes, beating the SNP by 149 votes. Callum Cox was the only other candidate to poll more than 1,000 votes in the by-election, bringing the Nationalists a total of 1,028 votes. The total number of valid votes cast was 3,675. Mr McLennan was elected at stage 8 of the count. Labour trailed a distant third, with Samuel McCulloch polling 627 votes, and the Conservatives' Rhys Sinnott took 129 votes. putting him in 4th place behind an independent run from Tom Lynch, who polled 484. The turnout was 22.2%, 3,719 votes from a total electorate of 16,764. This is a higher percentage turnout than last year's by-election in the same ward. That was 20.7%. It was Mr McLennan's second attempt at the ward, first contesting against eventual Labour winner David Russell last November. He first stood as a Reform candidate in the 2024 general election. He has contested every West Lothian council by-election since. Writing on the Reform UK Scotland website ahead of the poll, Mr McLennan, 65, said, "One of the main reasons for deciding to enter politics is the sheer unfairness and intolerance the SNP Green fiasco was visiting upon landlords. And so I joined Reform UK to fight back. Reform UK also talks so much common sense in so many areas that affect everyday folk." He's the first councillor in Scotland to be directly elected, standing as a candidate for Nigel Farage's party. All current Reform UK councillors in Scotland were originally elected as representatives for other parties, primarily the Conservatives and one SNP, and subsequently defected or joined Reform. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage said the result in West Lothian was a fantastic victory for his party, in a seat we were not expected to win. After the result was declared, Reform Glasgow councillor Thomas Kerr said the party is just getting started. Posting on social media, he said, "It's official. Reform UK has won in Whitburn and Blackburn, gaining our first seat in Scotland. Historic. Scotland's forgotten working-class communities won't be silenced anymore." Mr McLennan described the result as a vote of faith in reform in Scotland, claiming his party has all the momentum in Scottish politics. He added, "I want to thank the people of Whitburn and Blackburn for putting their trust in me and in reform. This is a clear signal from local residents that they want their community to take a new, positive direction."
MP Poynton to host CAMHS Crisis Summit. And this article is by Rose Thompson. Gregor Poynton MP has secured a meeting with the Scottish Government's Minister for Mental Wellbeing following a CAMHS Crisis Summit held in the Livingston constituency. Parents, young people, NHS representatives and mental health organisations came together to discuss the growing pressures facing child and adolescent mental health services, CAMHS. The summit, organised by Mr Poynton, brought together the families and young people who have experienced lengthy waits for assessment and support from NH Lothian CAMHS. A further session brought together NHS Lothian and third sector organisations supporting young people who are still waiting to be seen, diagnosed or offered treatment. Both meetings revealed shared concerns around long delays, limited support and the increasing strain on families across the Livingston constituency. After the summit, Mr Poynton wrote directly to the Scottish Government outlining the issues raised and calling for urgent action. The Minister has now responded and agreed to meet early in the new year to discuss the concerns in detail. Mr Poynton said, "Families and young people in the Livingston constituency and across Lothian have been waiting far too long for help. The CAMHS Crisis Summit demonstrated the seriousness and urgency of the situation, and I am pleased that the Minister has acknowledged this and agreed to meet. I look forward to pressing for immediate improvements so that young people get the support they need soon." Mr Poynton added, "Too often, people in a crisis are met by the police because the system does not offer an alternative response. This approach can add pressure and make the situation even worse."
And here's another article by Rose Thompson. The headline is "Constance calling for joint action." Avon Valley MSP Angela Constance is calling for joint action to deliver a new secondary school and a replacement health centre for East Calder. Miss Constance has written a joint letter to the Scottish Government's Health Secretary Neil Gray, Education Secretary Jenny Gilruth, and the Chief Executive of West Lothian Council Graham Hope, in the hope of a joint strategy. The move comes as West Lothian Council ran a non-statutory pre-consultation on secondary school catchment changes affecting East Calder, which closed on December 12th. All local community bodies, including the Community Council, residents' associations and the Parent Council, have expressed support for a new non-denominational secondary school in East Calder, alongside a new medical facility to meet the needs of the area's rapidly growing population. Miss Constance said, East Calder and Calderwood are growing fast, but local services have simply not kept up. Parents are worried about secondary school capacity, and patients are telling me very clearly that the current medical practice is no longer fit for purpose. Local people are doing their bit, engaging in the council's consultation and coming to public meetings. What they now need is for West Lothian Council and the Scottish Government to work together on a shared solution. In the letter, I urge West Lothian Council, the Scottish Government, West Lothian Health and Social Care Partnership and NHS Lothian to establish a joint approach, including exploring shared planning and potential co-location where this offers best value and long-term sustainability. Residents are not asking for anything unreasonable. They simply want essential public services to match the size and needs of their community. I will continue to press all partners to work together so that East Calder receives the investment it urgently needs. More than 400 people turned out at the first consultation meeting debate whether a new secondary school should be built in East Calder. Given the choice between that and busing children to Winchborough or Livingston, a show of hands left council officials in no doubt that a new school for East Calder is the only choice for the majority. Parents' comments summed up the tone. One said, "It's mad that they could be busing 900 kids from East Calder to secondary school. The council seems happy to settle for mediocrity rather than working with local communities to create a better future for our children." Another said, "My young children's future hangs in the balance, yet it feels as though West Lothian Council is focused on spreadsheets rather than lives. An East Calder High School is vital for families already stretched by years of rapid growth." And there's a picture of MSP Angela Constance, but there's also a picture of a huge number of people who turned up for a public meeting, all holding up banners and posters stating that they want a school in East Calder.
Second chance for community council startup, article by Stuart Somerville. 2 villages in the Linlithgow area could get a second chance to set up community councils. Bridgend and Phillipston didn't manage to gather enough support to set up a council in the last elections, which took place in October. But at the recent local area committee, Councillor Sally Pattle said there was enough interest in the communities to fill spaces with other committees active in the community. The 2 are among 10 communities stretching across West Lothian, which failed to find enough people to set up a community council. Douglas Grierson, the regeneration team leader, said there was a 6-month window to hold new elections. A council spokesperson confirmed officers are going to be doing community engagement in the new year to raise awareness of community councils and provide support in the community to the 10 areas that there is no current community council. This is with a view to supporting the establishment of these where possible. All 3 local councillors worked to promote the community councils, especially in the smaller communities. Labour's Tom Conn at one time served on the Bridgend Community Council. Sally Pattle was a member of Linlithgow and Linlithgow Bridge. Councillor Pauline Orr has been working with community groups in Bridgend. Councillor Tom Conn suggested that both communities could come together to form a joint community council if individual councils couldn't be formed. Councillor Orr said there are some people in Bridgend interested, but not enough. Councillor Pattle said the Phillipston Community Centre Management Committee has about 20 folks sitting on it. You have a group who are active in community matters. I think there's a misconception about what community councils are about. In his report to the Linlithgow Local Area Committee, Mr Grierson said the Community Wealth Building Team supported the recent West Lothian Community Council elections by assisting with local promotion and community engagement to encourage nominations. In addition to the council-wide publicity campaign, the Community Wealth Building Team delivered targeted information sessions in areas where there was a risk that the minimum number of nominations might not be achieved. Despite this engagement, including information sessions delivered at Bridgend Community Centre and Phillipston Community Centre, neither returned the minimum number of nominations required to re-establish a community council following this election cycle. Officers will continue to promote the opportunities in the coming months. Following the election period, Committee Services has been in contact with all newly reformed community councils to ensure that the appropriate governance and procedural steps are followed at their first meetings post-election to enable formal establishment and registration.
Hislop hails carers' payment. Another article by Ross Thompson. Linlithgow MSP Fiona Hislop has highlighted that carers across West Lothian are set to get a welcome boost to their finances ahead of Christmas. More than 96,000 carers across Scotland received the Carers Allowance Supplement payment, with money being paid into accounts from December the 4th. The Carers Allowance Supplement is an extra payment of £293.50, currently made twice a year for people in Scotland who get carer support payment or carers allowance. Fiona said, ensuring that carers across West Lothian receive the support they need is a key priority of the Scottish Government, and I am pleased to see this payment being provided to carers across West Lothian at what we know can be a financially challenging time of the year. Carers make an incredible contribution to communities across West Lothian, and that is why it is so welcome that payments such as the Carers Allowance Supplement, Carer Support Payment and the Young Carer Grant, all introduced by the Scottish Government, can help carers in West Lothian with the rising cost of living and recognise the invaluable contribution our carers make.
On the Beat, and this is an article with Detective Chief Inspector Laura White. Campaign mobilises action on domestic violence abuse. Police Scotland has been supporting the 16 Days of Activism campaign, which aims to raise awareness and mobilise action against domestic violence. The theme of this year's campaign was to end violence against women and girls taking place in the digital sphere. It's no secret that cyber offences continue to rise, and many of these relate to the treatment of females online. Whether it's harassment, stalking or making threatening comments, these offences have no place in our society and will not be tolerated. We know that on occasions a perpetrator of online abuse escalates their behaviours to physical violence, and we are committed as part of our Violence Against Women and Girls VAWG strategy to not only identify offenders and bring them to justice, but also support victims and signpost them to any relevant support they may require from our key partners. Our award-winning That Guy campaign also aims to encourage men to identify problematic behaviours exhibited by male friends and family members and challenge these to help make our society safer for women and girls. This is also a timely opportunity to remind our communities of the Disclosure Scheme for Domestic Abuse in Scotland, DSDAS, which is a way to find information about whether a person has an abusive past. This information can be used to prevent someone from experiencing domestic abuse in the future. Now in its 10th year, DSDAS has seen more than 38,847 applications submitted to the scheme and over 9,867 disclosures, 55% given. Protecting vulnerable people from harm is the core of policing, and DSDAS has, on many occasions, helped individuals understand that the behaviour of a partner forms part of a larger picture of domestic offending. It would not be too far to say that the use of DSDAS over the last decade has saved lives. Applications are made through Police Scotland's website or in person or at any police station, and following discussion with our partners allows us to disclose previous abuse to the partner to allow them to make informed decisions about the relationship. With the festive season now very much upon us, we know that this can be an extremely difficult time for those living in an environment where domestic violence is prevalent. We want to make it clear to anyone experiencing these offences that you are not alone. Please contact us for assistance and report any abuse you are being subjected to. We will listen to you, we will investigate, and we will stop it. Domestic abuse can have a devastating impact on survivors and their families, with children and young people at serious risk of emotional and physical harm. We will continue to explore any and all opportunities to enhance our capabilities in terms of enforcement and prevention in the terms of domestic violence. Crimes of this nature do not just affect those who experience it, or even the perpetrators. They have a significant and detrimental impact on society as a whole. Domestic abuse in any form cannot and will not be tolerated.
Parks should aim for all year-round events. Article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian Council may open up all of its country parks to events, not only for Christmas but potentially year-round. With no festive events set up this year for B. Craigs at Linlithgow, operators will be asked to bid with ideas early in the new year, with a final decision being taken in April. The move follows the collapse of a Christmas event planned for B. Craigs after the withdrawal of the company involved. In a report to the executive, David Baird, the council's estates and property manager, highlighted that officers from NETS, Land and Countryside Services and Property Services have considered opportunities for potential commercial events to take place, specifically over the autumn and winter period across the council's country parks, including consideration of the facilities at B. Craigs Country Park, Almondale Country Park and Polkemmet Country Park. Mr. Baird added, officers can also confirm they have already been approached by operators seeking clarity on the council's future intentions following confirmation of the decision to terminate GCLL's previous licence agreement early. Councillors backed the start of a test marketing campaign, with officers reporting back to the executive in April. GCLL, a Bathgate-based events company, won the 5-year licence for a Christmas lights event at B. Craigs in 2024. However, their first year's production was dogged by problems including traffic issues. Following this, B. Craigs woodlands were badly damaged by severe winter storms in January and February. Mr. Baird told councillors GCLL remained in close dialogue and worked with council officers throughout the subsequent period, but ultimately confirmed that, due to the aforementioned factors, it would not be possible for them to deliver viable events in future years. The council has now quit the licence, the firm has now quit the licence, paying the council £30,000 as an exit fee. Linlithgow Councillor Sally Pattle asked, "Are you able to say whether you have interest from local providers, or do you think interest will come from national providers?" Mr Beard replied, "In the past, we have had interest from local companies, and we hope that would be the case again. What we are not wanting to do is preclude anyone coming to this. It's really about experiences that we'll be looking for." Councillor Patty said, "I like the fact that you have broadened it to all of the country parks in West Lothian. I think we have got really fantastic assets in our country parks, and I really welcome the fact that officers are now looking to capitalise on those assets and increase tourism revenue." Fellow Ward Councillor Tom Conn added, "I do welcome the approach broadening to include all the country parks. I think we need to promote West Lothian as being open for 365 days of the year rather than just the autumn and winter. So hopefully this is a signal to operators that it shouldn't just be the autumn or winter they are thinking about." A festive lights show was initiated in 2019 after an agreement between a Linlithgow-based firm and the council. After the licence expired in 2023, the council was obliged to put out the licence to tender, with GCLL winning the bid. The move caused controversy in some quarters in Linlithgow, with many active supporters for the local firm unhappy that it was not given an extension to its licence, given that it had been unable to provide the event for much of its licence period because of the COVID pandemic lockdown. And there's a rather atmospheric photograph of people in their winter clothes taking a picture as they walk through a starlit tunnel at B. Craig's.
Charities Work needs a new store. This article is by Stuart Somerville. Homemade, the Bathgate-based charity which provides essential furniture at low cost, will open a new store in Craigshill early in the new year. It is one of a range of community-based services which Amond Housing has developed from its headquarters in Etive Walk, in one of the new town's first neighbourhoods. Jane Deary, the association's community engagement officer, told councillors, "It's great to be able to provide an opportunity to purchase low-cost items in our area." Jane and housing manager Jonathan Bertram were delivering an update on the Housing Association's activities to a meeting of the East Livingston and East Calder local area committee. She told the meeting, "We are about to welcome Homemade to open a new retail space for furniture, clothes and bric-a-brac. They used to be a well-used charity shop in Craigshill and it's missed. The new shop will be on the ground floor of the association's offices. The vacant space provides considerable room to sell furniture, white goods, clothes and bric-a-brac." June added, "We are delighted to be welcoming them because not only is it a service for our community, but we are able to work in partnership with them to support our tenants, particularly those who are moving into accommodation who may not have everything they need in the way of furniture or clothing. We are able to have that really strengthened partnership that we have with them already." Homemade was started in Bathgate more than 25 years ago and now has 2 stores in the town and 1 in Broxburn. It provides essential furniture and white goods for people who have been homeless and are taking up tenancies. Included are families, single parents and individuals, all in the low-income category who, with the assistance of Homemade, are looking to make the transition from homelessness to a home-making situation. On its website, the charity says, "In addition to providing furniture and white goods, we look to benefit the environment through the recycling and redistribution of second-hand furniture and household items back to the West Lothian community. We are a charity who are dedicated to helping those who need us most, vulnerable people and those who deserve a cosy place to call home. Our focus is on helping those who face social and economic exclusion through the use of support grants and by providing much-needed furniture and home items." Jane told councillors that the new store would be promoted through social media and the association's own media. She added, I'm sure as soon as it opens, word will get out. It's going to be a key to let people know it's there. There are partners who support the most vulnerable for people in our community, and they will make them aware that the service is now available in the heart of Craigshill. We are looking forward to welcoming people in our building and to take advantage of the service that Home Aid provides. After the meeting, a spokesperson for Almond Housing said, "We are delighted to welcome Home Aid West Lothian into the building. Their work providing affordable furniture to families and individuals in need make a real and tangible difference to people's lives across West Lothian. At Almond Housing Association, we are committed to supporting initiatives that strengthen our communities, and this partnership reflects our shared values of compassion, dignity, and practical support for those who need it most." Almond already offers community space in its offices in a large public space dubbed the Big Living Room. An ESOL course is attended by approximately 40 people. West Lothian Food Bank uses it as a distribution point, and Carers of West Lothian also now provide a drop-in advice service once a month for local people with caring responsibilities.
Legal win for family. Dad's belief in justice will become part of his legacy, and this is an article by Ruth Souter. The family of a man who died from lung cancer after prolonged exposure to asbestos have won a court battle to claim compensation from Scottish Power. Robert Crozier from Livingston worked as a mechanical fitter for the energy company at plants across Scotland between 1969 and 1992. He died of mesothelioma in 2018, aged 79. The disease is a form of cancer in the lining that covers the outer surface of some of the body's organs and is usually linked to asbestos exposure. Before his death, Mr. Crozier had claimed compensation from the energy company because of other asbestos-related health problems he developed during his employment. Scottish Power claimed his family were not entitled to any further compensation when they brought a new claim forward after his death. But the Supreme Court has now ruled in the family's favour following an 8-year court battle. Mr. Crozier's daughter Elaine Veal said, "My father was a quiet man, but never silent in the face of injustice. The news of his win brought an intense feeling of hope and comfort after years of non-relenting struggle to bring Power to account. We mourn the time we were supposed to have as a family with my dad, which makes the conduct of Scottish Power all the more difficult to bear. In my opinion, the lengthy duration of the process to bring about justice was uncaring and disrespectful on the part of Scottish Power, as it was their deliberate actions that delayed resolution and closure. My dad always stood up for what was right, and his belief in justice will now become part of his legacy. He would be profoundly touched to know that his story will help other families who find themselves in this nightmare situation. I'm relieved to say aloud, you did it, Dad. You won." Thomson Solicitors, which represents victims of asbestos illness, hailed the legal win. Jennifer Lilly, a senior, said, "Thomsons are delighted that the Supreme Court has upheld the decision of 2 previous Scottish courts and dismissed Scottish Power's invidious attempt to deny the families of those who have lost their lives to this dreadful disease their rightful compensation. This decision will provide comfort and certainty to the hundreds of Scottish men and women diagnosed every year with asbestos-related conditions as to how the law can protect their families in the event of the worst happening to them." Asbestos charity Action on Asbestos said, "Today's legal victory is simply marvellous news for families across Scotland whose lives have been scarred by the blight of asbestos illness. Companies like Scottish Power will now have to fully live up to their legal obligations to properly compensate the loved ones of their former employees who have died of this awful illness." A spokesperson for Scottish Power added, We settled Mr. Crozier's claim for asbestosis in 2014, and part of this settlement included the ongoing risk of developing a further disease. Today's judgment relates specifically to a technical legal point in relation to the interpretation of the Damages Scotland Act 2011 and future claims by relatives of those affected. We understand this has been a difficult time for Mr. Crozier's family. This was an important test case as to how the legislation is interpreted, and we welcome the clarity it provides. And there's a lovely picture of Mr. Crozier in happier times.
New deal could help increase swim stars, article by Stuart Somerville. Primary pupils in West Lothian are missing out on swim assessments because they lack basic swimming kit. A new initiative between West Lothian Leisure and swimwear manufacturer Zogs aims to fix that. West Lothian Leisure, Excite, West Lothian's Community Leisure Trust, has launched an initiative with swimwear brand Zogs to ensure no child misses out on learning to swim. As part of the Trust's Learn to Swim initiative, every Primary 5 pupil in West Lothian is invited to attend a swimming assessment delivered by Excite's coaching team. Children who fall below a set ability threshold are then offered a free 8-week block of lessons, supporting them to build essential water safety and swimming skills. This initiative has been running successfully at West Lothian Leisure for more than 8 years, and is delivered across all Excite venues and some high school pools. Through conversations with schools, the Excite team identified a recurring challenge. Some pupils unable to attend assessments simply because they do not own a towel, swimsuit, goggles, or a suitable bag. To break down this barrier and to ensure every child can take part, West Lothian Leisure has partnered with Zogs through its promotional fund, which this year Excite has chosen to invest into community support. This fund receives a percentage of every Zogs product sold in Excite venues, which includes Excite Bathgate, Whitburn and Linlithgow, allowing customers to directly support local children. The West Lothian Leisure Zogs Community Support Fund currently sits at approximately £3,000, with the potential to grow significantly as more products are sold by the charity. Zogs is also supplying items at cost price, enabling the charity to provide far more kits than would otherwise be possible. Each pack includes a swimsuit or shorts, towel, goggles and a bag, and the fund is already expected to be able to support over 150 children. Schools will begin identifying eligible pupils from February onwards, with kit distribution starting soon after. Although details are still being finalised, eligibility will focus on low-income families, including those receiving free school meals or clothing grants. At present, the programme will be delivered exclusively via schools. Every year, West Lothian Leisure assesses over 1,500 Primary 5 pupils, ensuring swimming is accessible and inclusive from an early age. The charity will work with schools ahead of the Learn to Swim assessments to sensitively identify pupils who may otherwise be unable to take part. The charity will then provide eligible children with a free Learn to Swim kit, ensuring they can attend lessons confidently and without embarrassment. Andrew Heron, Head of Finance at West Lothian Leisure, said, "Learning to swim is a life-saving skill, and no child should miss out because of a lack of kit. This partnership with Zogs means we can remove a real and immediate barrier for families in West Lothian. Our customers will play a meaningful part in this partnership." Every Zogs purchase made at West Lothian Leisure will directly contribute to helping a local child stay safe in and around water. Vicky Guthrie, Senior Key Account Manager at Zogs UK, added, "We've worked with West Lothian Leisure for more than 15 years, continually exploring new ways to support their mission of making swimming accessible for all. This initiative is especially powerful because it's fuelled directly by customers. Every Zogs product purchased in an Excite venue helps a local child take part in swimming lessons with confidence and without worry. We are proud to stand alongside West Lothian Leisure in breaking down barriers and giving every child the chance to learn an essential life skill. West Lothian Leisure's Learn to Swim programme is part of the Learn to Swim National Framework, a partnership between Scottish Swimming and Scottish Water, reaching over 82,000 children across 167 swimming pools in Scotland.
We're going to take a break now, and the second part of the recording will start soon after that. And now we're going to start section 2. First of all, we'll have the intimations, then we'll continue with the main news articles and also some sports news.
Duns, Francis Marion, 18/5/1948 to 27/11/2025. Passed peacefully at Edinburgh Royal Infirmary, surrounded by her loving family. Much love, Mum, to Karen and Kenny, and beloved Granny to Josh, Callum and Max, and dearest friend to Nancy. Francis' funeral service took place on Wednesday the 17th of December 2025, and the family thank everyone for the kind words expressed to them at this sad time.
Lucas Ann, Linlithgow, Latterley, Broxburn, passed peacefully on December 7th, 2025. Much loved mum of Ewan, loved sister of Duncan, Margaret and Evelyn, former servant and housekeeper for Dandy, Dusty and Toffee. A private funeral will be held.
Now it's back to the news. Commitment to cadets gets Louise an award. A Broxburn volunteer has received an award for her exceptional commitment to the cadets. Since 2020, the Cadet Adult Recognition Awards, CARAs, has sought to acknowledge the dedication and selflessness of the Cadet Force Adult Volunteers, CFAVs, who give their time and talents to support young people aged 12 to 18 in developing new skills, preparing for adult life, and forming lifelong friendships. Lieutenant Louise Macaulay was named runner-up in the Lothian and Borders Battalion Army Cadets category following nominations from the young people they work with. On receiving her CARA, Lieutenant Macaulay said, "I think having your cadets nominate you for an award like this tells you that you're doing something right as a CFAV and you're helping to make a difference." All nominations for the CARAs are submitted by cadet members of the Army Cadet Force, Sea Cadets Corps and Air Training Corps. Now in its 6th year, the CARAs 2025 received almost 100 nominations, highlighting the immense admiration the cadets have for their adult instructors. Presenting the awards to this year's worthy winners from the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, was National Army Cadet Ambassador, Army veteran and mental health activist Sally Orange, MBE. And there's a really nice photograph of Lieutenant Louise Macaulay holding her award. She's dressed in her Army Cadet's uniform, the camouflage outfit, but she's looking very proud.
First area in Scotland to use cutting-edge tech to help blind residents. And this is an article by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian is the first area in Scotland to use cutting-edge technology to help blind and partially sighted people to access public transport. A pilot project between West Lothian Council, Lothian Country and Sight Scotland veterans will help service users of the Lynburn Centre with sight loss to access real-time public transport information to help them get to Livingston Shopping Centre and further afield. West Lothian Council has installed new NaviLens codes at bus stops in Wilkinston and Livingston bus terminal. Discussions with sight loss veterans revealed the use of apps employing AI was a key contributor in assisting users to undertake simple tasks, effectively making day-to-day life easier for them. NaviLens codes are similar to interactive colourful QR codes, which blind or partially sighted users can scan with their smartphones. This provides users with real-time audio, with transport information such as bus services and the estimated times they will arrive at the stop. It can be used to provide information on local infrastructure and facilities that surround them, making it easier for them to make their way around public places. Executive Councillor for the Environment and Sustainability, Tom Conn, said, "We are delighted to be the first council area in Scotland to introduce cutting-edge Navilens codes at our bus stops. The pilot scheme should improve access to public transport information for blind and partially sighted users, as well as the general public. Thanks to Sight Scotland veterans and Lothian Country for working in partnership with us to make this possible. The pilot provides an innovative and more cost-efficient means of communicating public transport information to users, replacing old technology that is no longer fit for purpose. It is hoped to roll out Navilens codes to other key locations in West Lothian if the pilot scheme is successful." Callum Welsh, Information Infrastructure Manager, Lothian Country, said, "Promoting accessible travel information is a key priority for us, and this project strengthens our commitment to enhancing the accessible customer experience across all aspects of our services." Sight Scotland veterans run the Lindburn Centre in Wilkeston, a vibrant hub where veterans living with visual impairment can reconnect with others, rebuild confidence and rediscover independence in a warm and welcoming environment. Jason McMillan, Assistive Technology Lead with Sight Scotland Veterans, said, "We are delighted that West Lothian Council has become the first council in Scotland to install Navilens codes. They are colourful QR codes that not only give visually impaired travellers instant access to real-time public transport information via their smartphones, but they also guide them to the bus stop within 20 metres, which can be extremely helpful. This is a major step forward, making travel more inclusive and independent for the veterans who use Lindburn Centre and for visually impaired people across West Lothian. Navilens technology is designed to be easy to use with high contrast codes that can be scanned from a distance without precise alignment, helping people quickly and confidently find accurate travel details. By working with West Lothian Council and Lothian Country, we are enabling our community to reach destinations like Livingston Shopping Centre and beyond with greater freedom. Our External Affairs and Campaigns team are keen to work with other councils across Scotland to support them to follow suit and make public transport truly accessible for everyone. This is a pilot programme, and we hope that our community can spread the word and help make it a success that can be rolled out in other places. For more information on Navilens, visit www.navilens.com.
Sickness rate among bin crews not concerning. Article by Ross Thompson. High sickness absence rates among bin lorry crews are the norm across local authorities, councillors have been told. The physical nature of the work leads to often double-digit percentages of staff absence compared to other areas of council work. And the sickness absence rate across all council services in West Lothian is broadly similar to national trends. A meeting of Corporate Policy and Resources PDSP heard that musculoskeletal injury was the second most common reason for sickness absence between April and September this year, most of those in operational service staff, the majority of which are manual workers. And at a recent meeting of the Performance Committee, Scott Anderson, the Waste and Recycling Manager, said, "Sickness absence remains high. It is because it is such a manually orientated service." Mr. Anderson was outlining the performance of the waste collection service. Bin crews lift 1.6 million bins a quarter across West Lothian. The county's recycling rate is 50.8% and climbing, and customer satisfaction is 80%. Average response time to customer enquiries is 2 days. Councillor Tony Boyle asked about the levels of sickness absence in the service, which sits above 10% most months. Is this purely down to the physical nature of the job? And how do we compare to other local authorities? Mr. Anderson said, "This is my 4th local authority working in the waste industry, having worked with Glasgow, Edinburgh and Stirling. I can put my hand on my heart and honestly say that this is the level across the industry. It is not just a problem in West Lothian." He added that in percentage terms, absences in other local authorities were similar in double digits. Mr. Anderson told the committee, "We do robustly manage sickness absence from a support point of view. We work to support our staff to get them fit for work and get them back to work. The main reason for sickness absence across all council services is mental or behavioural. A report to the Corporate Policy and Resources PDSP detailed that mental or behavioural reasons accounted for 35% of all staff absences between April and September. This was a decrease from the same period last year. The report added, "This is reflective of the wider picture in the UK, with mental ill health reported to be the top cause of long-term absence in the context of an ongoing increase in sickness absence across sectors. Stress continues to be the highest contributor to levels of sickness absence across the council, and action continues to focus on support for services reporting high levels of stress-related absence, with guidance on identifying early signs of stress and how to develop action plans to effectively address those."
Musician Kyle gutted after guitar is stolen. And this is an article by Nicholas Militzia. A West Lothian musician is gutted after a prized guitar was stolen from his car outside a pub. Kyle Wood had been supporting American touring band Dim Wizard at Block in Glasgow on Tuesday, December the 2nd, when he made the discovery. The 37-year-old dad was returning to his car parked on Wellington Street when he was told that someone had made off with his beloved instrument moments before. Kyle has been performing for 17 years for Donkeys Through Lovers Turned to Monsters and Common Records and was left shaken by the theft. He said, "I've never lost anything or had something stolen, so it really shook me up. I was just leaving the gig when one of my friends saw me going over to the car. He told me that someone had just taken the guitar out of the boot. It was really gutting. My partner had got me that guitar for Christmas last year as a gift. Previously, I had been using one that was sellotaped together." Kyle from West Lothian, who usually hides the instrument down the back of the seats, was left kicking himself as he had been forced to use the boot due to his child's new car seat. He continued, "It's frustrating because it's probably the first time I've ever left it in the boot and now it's gone. I was also kicking myself because the person took it about 2 minutes before I left. I kept thinking that if I had just cut the conversation I was having, it would still be here. It was parked so close to the venue I could have seen it if I'd looked." The dad decided to drive around to see if he could find the guitar, but after talking to his partner, he decided to go home. After discovering that the car's logbook had also been taken, he reported the incident to the police. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "At around 1:45 a.m. on Wednesday, December the 3rd, officers received a report of theft from a vehicle on Wellington Street, Glasgow. Following the theft, the music community rallied round the DIY gig legend with a GoFundMe. It reads, "Ur Kyle has been a legend of the DIY community in Glasgow for Donkeys Through Lovers Turned to Monsters and Common Records, and some unfortunate circumstances have left him without a guitar. It was lifted from his car outside of Block on December the 2nd after he played supporting Dim Wizard. It seems to me our Glasgow DIY music community could do something to help this situation, and only a few people has done as much as work into the scene as Kyle over the years. Let's see if we can help them out and have a wee bloody Christmas miracle of a lad getting a new guitar on Christmas Day.
Council to decide AI policy, and another article by Stuart Somerville. A new policy on the use of artificial intelligence AI tools will go before the January meeting of West Lothian Council's executive. The policy, a year in the making, has drawn on work done by councils around the country as AI tools developed into mainstream. Human oversight remains essential, according to the policy papers presented to the councillors at the Corporate Policy and Resources PDSP. Ian Forrest, the council's IT services manager, said, "The draft AI policy is a proactive step to ensure that as we embrace the opportunities that AI offers for efficiency and service improvement, we do so responsibly, ethically, and in full compliance with legal and regulatory standards." The policy covers a broad range of AI technologies, including machine learning, natural language processing, and generative AI tools such as ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot, and sets out a clear principle for safe and transparent use. Councillor Linda Kenna asked why was Microsoft chosen above other options. Mr. Forrest said that the Microsoft option would fit as part of the Council's existing Microsoft 365 account tenancy, and thus the information could be used securely within that tenancy instead of data having to be passed out on an external AI tool. The draft policy outlines users are responsible for ensuring that any AI-generated content is not discriminatory, offensive, or inappropriate. Users should be aware of discrimination that based data or inadequate design or use of AI might create. If there are any doubts about the appropriateness of using AI in a particular situation, users should consult with their manager or seek advice from relevant contact. It adds, human oversight is essential for the ethical use of AI, ensuring that AI systems operate in the alignment with societal values and ethical standards. Human review must be conducted on AI outputs for biases, discrimination, and accuracy. And the policy states disclosure transparency in AI is crucial for ensuring accountability, which includes providing information on how the AI-generated decisions are made. The presence and role of any AI systems will be disclosed in our operations to relevant stakeholders, including employees, customers, and partners. This includes information on how AI systems are used, details of the data they process, and decision-making processes as they support. In Scotland, Argyll and Bute Council has a dedicated AI policy, and the Scottish Government operates the Scottish AI Register for public sector transparency. In England, a range of councils at different tiers, from district to parish councils, have developed AI policies.
New law to stop touts is music to MPs' ears. Article by Ross Thompson. Bathgate and Linlithgow MP Kirstine Sullivan has welcomed the announcement from the UK government on plans to make it illegal for tickets to concerts, theatre, comedy, sport and other live events to be resold for more than their original cost. The pledge delivers on Labour's manifesto promise to stand up for consumers. Ticket touting has become increasingly sophisticated in recent years. Touts buy large volumes of tickets online, often using automated bots, before relisting them on resale platforms at hugely inflated prices. This has caused misery for millions of fans and damaged the live events industry. Kirstine said, "As a member of the Ticket Abuse APPG, I strongly welcome the government's decisive action to ban ticket touting. This is a vital step to protect fans from being exploited with rip-off prices and to put fairness back at the heart of live events. As an avid gig goer myself, I know how important it is that music and sport remain affordable and accessible for everyone. This ban sends a clear message: fans come first." The new laws will stamp out this practice, improving access for genuine fans when tickets originally go on sale and ending rip-off pricing on the resale market. The new rules announced make clear that ticket resale above face value will be illegal. This will be defined in legislation as the original ticket price plus unavoidable fees, including service charges. Service fees charged by resale platforms will be capped to prevent the price limit being undermined. Labour's Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy said, "For too long, ticket touts have ripped off fans using bots to snap up batches of tickets and resell them at sky-high prices. They've become a shadow industry on resale sites, acting without consequence. This government is putting fans first. Our new laws will shut down the touts racket and make world-class music, comedy, theatre and sport affordable for everyone."
Women's fear as army of rats are discovered. And this article is by Nicholas Malizia. A West Lothian woman has been left terrified due to an infestation of rats in her neighbourhood, claiming one of the vermin even tried to attack her while she was taking out her bins. Stephanie Ireland lives on Riddick Crescent in Blackburn and claims rats are eating through the walls into her property. The 37-year-old has owned a home in the street for 6 years and says the pests have always been a problem on the street, but this year the issue has escalated to a new level. She said they're about the size of a small Jack Russell. They're quite aggressive. There is one beside my bins which I've had to move aside. I've had a rat jump at me personally when I tried to put rubbish in the bin. Stephanie believes that the problem is related to a large amount of fly-tipped rubbish behind her street. She claims her neighbours who live in council housing have dead rats under their floor. The local shared her grievances online at the West Lothian Council Exposed Facebook group to raise awareness. After being contacted about the issue, a West Lothian Council spokesperson confirmed there are factors which make the situation challenging, but they are engaging with locals. They do not believe fly tipping is contributing to the problem. Following investigations, Stephanie continued, "The hedge beside me is full of them. This weekend, about 40 rats ran out of my hedge. My dog was chasing them in the garden. At least 20 went into the main street. The council gardens are overrun with waste, which has attracted the vermin. This is the first year I've suffered because the volume of mess has become so great. The vermin population is out of control. They are being seen in broad daylight." And the local shared photographs with Edinburgh Live of holes in her walls, which she claims were made by marauding rats. At night, she says she can hear them in her walls. Stephanie added, "I'm getting increasingly stressed with it. I can't sleep at night and I'm getting physically ill from removing the waste. I'm getting nowhere with the council and it's compounding things. They have a duty of care. The external environment is such that it allows the rats to breed out of control. It falls on them as the social landlord for the properties neighbouring. She is particularly worried because her partner, Hayley Docherty, 38, has multiple sclerosis, a condition that renders her immunocompromised and more susceptible to falling ill." A West Lothian Council spokesperson said, "We have been in contact with a local resident over their specific concerns over rats in the area. Our pest control team currently have one active treatment locally, but investigations do not suggest an extensive or worsening problem at this time. There is nothing to suggest that inert waste items in garden is contributing to the situation." There are also legal restrictions in terms of managing rats in open spaces using poisons, which makes dealing with issues more challenging. Rats are part of the natural environment and can live in any environment that provides them with food, water and shelter. Taking steps to prevent rats having easy access to find food sources is the best way to try and prevent issues. It can be understandably concerning if people are seeing them running around or to have them in their home. Owners and occupiers who are having issues with rats have a duty to ensure they are controlled, and the Council's pest control team can provide assistance with treatment if required. More details can be found at www.westlothian.gov.uk pest control.
With envy over planting of new trees. This is an article by Ross Thompson. While developers construct housing, the rate of house building in Winchborough is being outstripped by tree planting in one of the country's greenest settlements. An average of 20 trees per day, almost one every hour, have been planted in the past 5 years, meaning 38,000 trees planted since 2021 now punctuate the vast Old Cathay Park that runs through the core of the growing community and in woodland adjacent to the Union Canal. In the run-up to Christmas during the past 3 months, some 2,300 trees, a mixture of rowan, berry and birch, alder, oak and maple, among other varieties, have been planted in this 80-acre park. The initiative has been led by Winchborough Community Growing Group and supported by corporate heavyweights, Passenger Clothing and nearby Broxburn bottlers, who produce more than 50 million bottles each year for Diageo and other global drinks brands. John West of Winchborough Community Growing Group has established a partnership with eForest, whose corporate supporters and partners weigh in with support to purchase and plant trees. He said, "We chose all trees that are good for woodlands and wildlife, allowing birds to nest and which in 5 to 6 years will be nice big trees creating a proper woodland. We're doing something that is sustainable and will be here forever." This is our 3rd year of support from eForest, and we are delighted to have teams from Passenger Clothing and Broxburn bottlers in recent weeks to come out and plant with us, as well as people serving the community through the Community Justice team. Penny Lochhead, Community Sports and Green Space Manager of Winchborough Developments, the lead developer of the Winchborough, added, "We are delighted to support Winchborough Community Growing Group in their endeavours from helping with planting in the community to ensuring that people of all ages and backgrounds throughout Winchborough can volunteer to play an active role in growing produce and maintaining a beautiful corner of Old Cathay Park. Well done to everyone involved in the continuous tree planting, which is such an important part of the development of Winchborough." A spokesperson for Passenger said, "Passenger's latest team tree planting day brought us to Old Cathay District Park, where we invited members of our Scottish community and retail partners to help us plant 350 trees, a huge success. We chose this location for the urban reforestation potential, as creating a green space for people to access locally is really important. Our plant project commitment is a significant part of the Passenger purpose. We've been planting trees and protecting rainforests worldwide for years, so we're really proud to be able to partner with eForests to enable us to take part in community tree planting projects closer to home too. It was brilliant to hear from John West and the team about the ongoing community development and plans for future reforestation in the area. And there's a lovely picture of the volunteers who helped to plant the trees, including 2 lovely wee spaniels.
And this article is under the banner Small Business Saturday. Small Businesses Celebrated, article by Ross Thompson. Gregor Poynton MP spent the weekend meeting local businesses across the Livingston constituency as part of Small Business Saturday. The MP visited Kath's Cafe at Crofthead Community Centre, Flossverse Techsphere CIC, and Community Brew at the West Calder Community Hub. The annual campaign encourages people to shop local and support the independent businesses that play a central role in local economies and community life. At Kath's Cafe, Gregor started his day with a coffee and breakfast roll from Kath and the team, who serve affordable, community-focused food from their base within Crofthead Community Centre. The visit formed part of Gregor's wider work to highlight neighbourhood cafes and hubs that provide vital social space for residents. Gregor also visited Flossverse Techsphere CIC, a community-led digital skills enterprise based at Crofthead. The organisation uses virtual reality learning tools, immersive training and creative technologies to build confidence and expand opportunities for people who face digital barriers. During the visit, Gregor tried out one of the virtual reality headsets used in their programmes. The day continued in West Calder, where Gregor stopped in at Community Brew, a community-minded cafe offering local produce and a welcoming space for families and residents. Speaking after the visit, Gregor said, "Small Business Saturday is a reminder of something we see every day in West Lothian and the Livingston constituency, that local businesses are at the heart of our communities. Whether it's a cafe offering a warm welcome, a social enterprise opening up digital skills, or a neighbourhood hub creating space for people to come together, they all play a part in keeping our towns and villages vibrant. Businesses like Kath's Cafe, Community Brew and Flossverse Techsphere show the creativity and commitment that makes West Lothian special. I want to thank every small business owner, volunteer and member of staff who keeps our local economy moving. Supporting them isn't just for Small Business Saturday, it's something we should celebrate all year round."
Storm damages a family's car, and this article is by Isla Story. A West Lothian family were left shaken after a huge branch fell onto their car while driving during high winds from Storm Bram. Michael Donnell was travelling home with his wife and toddler last Monday, December the 9th, when the frightening incident occurred at around 6:30 p.m. The 33-year-old's partner, a learner, was driving them towards Livingston and was stopped at temporary traffic lights near Kirknewton at the time. The impact left the rear window shattered and a large crack in the front windscreen. However, the couple have reportedly since been hit with a bill of £925 after their insurance company told them their claim was non-recoverable. Michael told Edinburgh Live, "We were just stationary on the road, chatting and listening to some kids' songs with our 3-year-old daughter. It was obviously very windy, then suddenly there was this big crash on top of the roof. It smashed the window with the glass completely shattered. Luckily none of the pieces went past the boot tray. We were just in shock. I remember saying, 'What on earth's that?' and went out to have a look at what happened. I could see a big dry branch which broke off on impact. The large branch was partly on the road and partly still on the roof. Pictures show the car at the side of the road and later outside of the family's home. The damage is obvious, with almost all of the glass gone from the rear windscreen and scratches around it. Pieces of the large branch can be seen lying on top of the car and in the middle of the road, with debris scattered around it." Michael said his partner was visibly shaking following the incident, but managed to get the car home. Neither them nor their daughter were injured. However, despite being provided with a courtesy car, the subsequent insurance costs have left the couple reeling. He added, "The insurance company has then told us we will have to pay all the possible excess there is, a total of £925, which is just crazy for us at this time of the year. That payment for just standing still on the road is ridiculous and a big hit to our family budget."
So as a former head teacher of Kirkhill Primary School in Broxburn, I'm delighted to read out this article. Kirkhill Primary School in West Lothian have swapped their textbooks for tinsel in a unique festive challenge launched by leading house builders Barrett and David Wilson Homes. The Creative Design Initiative invited children to showcase their imagination by transforming construction hard hats into Christmas-themed creations, with nearly 200 primary school pupils across Scotland getting involved. Pupils from Primary 6 in the West Lothian School took part in the competition, which aimed to lay the foundations for creativity while introducing young people to the world of construction. Using materials ranging from tinsel and baubles to paint and craft suppliers, each child designed their own festive hard hat as part of the initiative. The winning design earned its creator, Primary 6 pupil Georgie, a £50 Smith's voucher, while all participants were rewarded with chocolate selection box as a festive treat. The school's head teacher, Jennifer Russell, said, "It was great to see the pupils' ideas come to life and to celebrate their creativity. And creativity is a very important part of the curriculum."
Cocktail class and festive fun at 41 Club, article by Ross Thompson. Linlithgow and District 41 Club had their Christmas jumper dinner this month and much merriness was had. Members were treated to high-octane entertainment by their very own Al Campbell, who ran a cocktail class entitled Dazed and Infused. It could equally have been called Cocktails from Your Kitchen. With the aid of Al's well-honed entertainment skills, his broad-ranging in-depth knowledge of the alcohol industry and some willing helpers, the club enjoyed an engaging and informative evening. He gave members insights into the use of gin to ward off the plague, created Christmas sangria, medal tea, and a Bathgate Beaujolais-inspired white Christmas martini, much of it using standard kitchen utensils. Al even raided his pantry to produce his answer to Blackness milk, Linlithgow cream. All tasted sublime and were created with panache. And there's a picture of the gentleman, and I don't think there's any doubles of Christmas jumpers, and there's about 25 of them.
And this article is Rampant Raids End the Year on High, and it's the rugby. Rampant Linlithgow Reds recorded a thumping 60-5 victory at home to Ellen to end 2025 on a high. Ellen made the long journey from north of Aberdeen for this final National League Division 4 match prior to the Christmas break. The Reds won a closely fought game in September at Ellen and expected a tough challenge from the visitors to Mains Park, but the Reds dominated from start to finish. Both teams had early handling issues, but it was the visitors who struck first with a straightforward passing move that sent their left wing into the corner for the opening try. The expected Reds' response was not long in coming when, after the pack had made several breaches at the Ellen line, Cammy Murtry passed to Jack Frame, who sent Ewan Curran over for an unconverted try. This was quickly followed by another home try when, after a surging run by Alfie Muir, Ewan Mockery went close to scoring, but the ball was recycled and Cammy Murray combined with Oscar Davies, who supplied the final pass to fullback Ross Penderleith. The Reds continued to press the pedal, and it was no surprise when their third try arrived. From a midfield scrum, Ellen tried to run the ball through the home backs, but Rory Stewart emerged with the ball and galloped away to continue his try-scoring streak. Frame added the extra to make it 17-5. The Reds won a penalty just short of the Ellen goal line and elected to go for a pushover try. Following a textbook and well-controlled scrum drive, Oscar Davies had the simplest task to touch down the ball after it crossed the line as Reds led 22-5 at half-time. The weather continued to deteriorate through the second ball, but the Reds managed a further 6 tries, which was a great effort in such trying circumstances. The opening try was scored after a neat break by Cammy Murray after a line-out allowed Lewis McGee to pass to Kyle Ormond, who in turn sent Ewan Curran over unopposed for his second try of the afternoon. Jack Frame added the conversion to put the Reds into an unassailable lead as Ellen struggled to gain entry into the Reds' half of the field. The next try was a planned move with Ewan Curran taking the ball and stand off and driving hard at the Ellen midfield and managing a line offload to Alfie Muir, who slid over for a well-worked try, which Frame added to extra points. The home forwards were trying hard to cross the whitewash with several strong drives, and eventually they scored a try following a solid scrum. A clean pick-up by Oscar Davies, and with the final touchdown being supplied by the lurking Ewan Mockery, who burst over to cap a fine individual display. Frame again added the conversion. The Stewart show continued to roll along when he dived full length to secure the next try after Alfie Muir's kick ahead, with Alfie adding the conversion. By this time, the Ellen guys were still trying to run the ball out of defence, but handling conditions were getting more difficult and they just conceded 2 further tries. Stewart picked up a dropped ball and sent Freddie Aldcock away on a 30-metre run to the line for his first try on his return to the club. The final try was well worked and involved a scrum pick-up by Kieran Cochrane, who linked with Alfie Muir and Fraser Mockery, who, with the hint of a dummy, charged upfield before the ball was swung left and Rory Stewart to complete his hat-trick of tries. The final whistle was welcomed by all, as players and spectators sought refuge in the warm clubhouse. The Reds sit in 4th place in Division 4 with 43 points from 8 wins and 4 losses, and resume league business away in Murray on Saturday, January the 10th, 2026. And there are a few action shots here, and one boy with the caption, "A very wet Ewan Curry running in an unopposed try," is a very muddy Ewan Curran. They're absolutely filthy. I think the weather was awful.
Cup winners pose big test, and the boss, David Martindale of Livy, says, "I'm sure there will be nobody's hangover." And this is an article by Paul Thompson. Livingston boss David Martindale is adamant St Mirren won't be suffering from a League Cup final hangover when the Paisley men welcome his Lions on Premiership duty this Saturday. The Buddies are still buzzing from the enormous high of stunning Celtic in Sunday's final with a 3-1 win at Hampden. And while the celebrations went long into the night in Paisley, Martindale is sure it won't have an impact when his rock-bottom Lions look for a victory that could take them off the foot of the table. He told the Courier, "I think St Mirren are too cute to be suffering any kind of hangover from the game. They are really professional, and I think going to Paisley at any time in the season is difficult. It is a tough ground to go to and get points. I'm not so sure them having a cup final will help us do that. Robbo, the players, the staff, the board need to take a huge amount of credit because the success they've had in the last couple of years has been exceptional. We are under no illusions how difficult it is going to be to pick points up there. The Lions go into the game off a fine comeback from 2-0 down at home to Dundee to take a point. However, Martindale was far from happy with the performance against their rivals at the foot of the Premiership. He said, "I think it was 2 points dropped instead of gained. I know we came back from 2-0 down and we can sugarcoat it, but I don't think we should ever have been in that position. We have to have a hard, long look at ourselves. A 5-minute spell in the first half cost us because we didn't do the basics and we really let ourselves down. The mountain we gave ourselves to climb was inexcusable. We win our game in hand, we probably come off the bottom of the league, but we need to start winning games very quickly. Livy skipper Ryan McGowan denied Dundee a clear goal-scoring opportunity in the 96th minute and saw red for bringing down Ashley Hay. Martindale added, "Ryan will be a big miss. You want to be going into your games with your best players, and Ryan is our club captain for a reason. I would agree that he has to make the challenge, but I do think there is a clear foul on him. If Dundee went through and scored, I think VAR could chop it off. That is just my opinion. But once the whistle doesn't go, Ryan has to make his decision. It was a good decision to make sure we got something from the game." And there's a picture of the Livy gaffers, who's looking very wary indeed about the upcoming game.
Well, that's us at the end of this week's recording. So when you finish listening to it, please put the memory stick back into the folder and return it to us as soon as you can. Please remember to turn over the address label, leaving the cut-off corner at the top right-hand side. And with that, it's goodbye from me, Rebecca. And just to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's goodbye.
Goodbye from Jane. Happy Christmas.
And goodbye from Sarah, and Happy Christmas.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.